Hi, dear friends. Today we are going to learn model number 6B entitled Gateman's Gift. The extract is written by R.K. Narayan, who is not only well known novelist but also the greatest novelist in Indian English literature. He was born on 10th October 1906 and died on 13th May 1901. He lived for 95 years, was a leading writer of early Indian English literature. He is well known for his works set in the fictional South Indian town of Malgudi. In his almost all the novels, Malgudi, which is a fictional, imaginary village, is presented or decorated, where almost all the incidences of his novels took place. Malgudi Days, a very famous serial, was there on Delhi Doordarshan. I think I was in the 10th or 12th at the time when the serial was going on Delhi Doordarshan. So, such a prolific, such a versatile and great novelist of India is well known for his works set in the fictional South Indian town of Malagudi. Narayan received many awards and honors, including A.C. Benson Medal, Padma Vibhushan, which was conferred on him by Government of India. He received Padma Bhushan also. A beautiful award conferred by Government of India on him. He has been compared to William Faulkner and Gady Maupassant. So these two are the novelists, William Faulkner and Gady Maupassant. The comparison is made by the various English critics, between William Faulkner, Gady Maupassant and R.K. Narayan. His Sahitya Academy Award winner, The Guide, was adapted for film. The Guide was his very famous novel, which was adapted in Hindi movies. Very famous movie acted by, I think, Devanand and Wahida Rahman. The songs of that movie are still popular and give pleasure to the mind of audience. The Gateman's Gift, that is the title of this extract, is about an illiterate Gateman, Govind Singh. Govind Singh is a hero of this extract or the story. This is about an illiterate Gateman. Illiterate Gateman means he is not literate person, and who is appointed as a gatekeeper in a company, and his name is Govind Singh. One day he receives a registered letter that drives the normal, healthy Govind Singh to the point of madness. One day he received a registered letter, and first time in his life he received this kind of letter, a registered letter. So normal Govind Singh was become more excited at the point of a madness when he received this letter. After reading the story, you will understand that the problem was not with the content of the message, but in the way the message was delivered through a registered post. What is important? Content of the letter is not important here, but the way the letter is delivered is important here. And because of the way through the registered post, the letter received, that made Govind Singh mad. The story suggests that we need to think carefully before we send written messages to anyone. Written messages are generally considered authenticate messages, authorized messages, and if there is a seal and signature, it becomes most authenticate and most authentic document, and that can be considered prime importance. So such letter through registered post he received, and the letter created a great excitement in the normal Govind Singh. So this is a brief introduction about the Gateman gifts written by R.K. Narayan. Now we are going to see this extract line by line to understand the story properly and keenly. So let us start. When a dozen persons question openly or slyly a man's sanity, he begins to entertain serious doubts about himself. Actually, this is a general statement. If the dozen persons, more than 12 persons, question openly or slyly, slyly means cunningly, a man's sanity, that is man's rationality, good thinking ability, about man's goodness. When a dozen persons questions openly about man's goodness, He begins to entertain serious doubts about himself. The person to whom the questions are asked by dozen people, that person begins to entertain serious doubts about himself. He creates himself serious doubts about himself because he is not behaving properly. This is what happened to ex-gateman Govind Singh. The same is happened with the gateman, gatekeeper you can call it. Ex-gateman Govind Singh. Ex-gateman is he was a gateman. Now he is retired person, and you could not blame the public either. And for that purpose, you cannot blame to public because public is seeing madness in him. What could you do with a man who carried about in his hand a registered postal cover and asked, "Please tell me what there is inside"? Suppose a person is coming to you with a registered letter in his hand and ask you what is inside in this letter. What you can do? The obvious answer from yourself is open it and see. What is your answer? Open it and see. Unless and until you open the letter, how can you see what is there inside? He seemed horrified at this suggestion. Suppose this suggestion is made by a person to him, Govind Singh. He becomes horrified. "Oh no, no, can't do it," he says. He declared and moved off to another friend and acquaintance. So he declared, "No, no, no, you can't do it," and moved off from you. You means any person to whom he asked about it. Everywhere the suggestion was the same till he thought everyone had turned mad. Everybody to whom he has gone, Govind Singh has gone and asked about this registered post. Everybody suggested him to open it and see what is there in it. Every time the same answer he received, and when he says, "Oh no, no, can't do it," then people are thinking that the person is a mad. And then somebody said, if you don't like to open it, and yet want to know what is inside, you must take it to the X-ray Institute. This was suggested by an ex-compounder who lived in a next street. There was a compounder who lived in a next street and worked in a hospital. So he knew about X-ray machine. So he suggested Govind Singh that go to the hospital and take an X-ray of this registered letter. Then you will come to know what is there inside the letter. So this suggestion is made by an ex-compounder. What is it? Asked Govind Singh. It was explained to him. What is X-ray machine was explained to him by that X-ray man, ex-compounder. Where is it? He was directed to the City X-ray Institute. Govind Singh asked to the ex-compounder, where is it? Means where is the X-ray machine? And that compounder directed him to that X-ray Institute, City X-ray Institute. But before saying anything further about his progress, what happened next we are eager to know. But before saying anything further about his progress, it would be useful to go back to an earlier chapter in his history. So before knowing what happened further, we must know the history of this chapter first, and then we will come to know what will happen in future. So we will see the history of Govind Singh in my next video. Thank you.